minister. It's my flock.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Guten Morgen.
Welcome, Kimberly. So, I'm going to explain a few things about next year and how this is going to work. So this will be the last archaeological story that we have out of the 3, okay? But this one's going to be different because I thought we could use some different fun stuff. I know everyone really liked the Hawthorns, right?
Yeah.
Okay? And we like the Bucharest Bungo. But they're sort of the same. Okay, in a way, they're sort of calling the same element, you know, the spooky stuff, spooky scary. This isn't spooky scary, this is paranormal, unseen scary. Does that make sense? It's a little to the left or right of that one. Cryptid, but it's also, but it isn't cryptid. So the idea initially was that we would try something different. Now, I'm going to say this very bluntly, and I want everyone to pay attention. Here's something. There really are no Vikings in it. Now just relax and understand something. The year is 1895. We are in Norway. They are not walking around with swords and battle axes. However, the opening story involves the Vikings. It has to, because the story starts 1,200 years earlier. So there's a lot we have to clean up. But by the time we get to 1895, now that said, what I'm going to show you today, you'll understand some of it. We are taking elements of the Viking designs and putting them in, guess what? Steampunk clothing. So we just started this. I'm working with a kid named Matthew. He's doing all the AI on a closed circuit. Basically, we're very lucky because he's a very large corporation's computer. But what they do is it's their own art. They have about 5 million pieces. And it doesn't, which isn't that much if you think about it. I did have to learn Mid-Journey, but it's a pain in the ass. And trust me, when you try to move 6 fingers and get rid of one, and it takes 15 tries, you really give up pretty quick. So I do some initial stuff, and I'll send it to him, and then he does. Okay, so you all saw the Caribbean women and men and how nice they looked. That's what a really good system does. But he works on Warcraft and he works on Hearthstone and things like that. So that's why the cards that people saw in the games look like Hearthstone. That's what we started with. We really had to pull some tweaks and things to get this stuff to look like this. And I'm very, very thankful because he has saved me a lot of time and energy mental-wise, because trying to come up with these images to show you what I'm really trying to go for wasn't easy. But I wanted to give you the best visual I could, and there's only so many we can get done in a certain amount of time. So I was busy doing this one, but I also had to put 50 hours in this year in the last 3 months doing the next one so you can see it, because I know how everybody likes it. Now that said, I'm going to preface a couple things. One, I will start putting pictures up in about 2 to 3 weeks, okay? So just wait. Please wait. They're coming. It's just, as we were working this weekend on this stuff, he was busy generating close to 400 images for me this weekend alone. And they're all going to be this quality. So you can understand why, but I have to edit them. And trust me, each one still requires 1 hour to 2 hours of photoshopping. This makes sense to people? Colors are not always correct. I can't change certain elements. If we could get some extra chairs in maybe for some people, please, if anyone could maybe get some.
Seat up here.
There's a few empty seats up front.
One here.
Yeah, there's some people that are probably want to sit. Yeah.
One here.
One here. And one here.
One there. There's one there. One there.
So anyway, we're trying to get this up. By the beginning of January, you'll see a huge gallery on the website. Okay, I've already warned Eduardo was coming. He's like, okay, now the website was basic, but you will see a lot of this, and you're going to see a color breakdown. You're going to see all that. Okay, make sense? You with me? You ready? Yes. Okay, now we'll probably do one night where you can go all crazy Viking. Okay, I'll probably no horn helmets. Although I know now I'm going to get someone with like 15 horns. It's like, it's not a single horn.
Well, That's like.
All right, so this breaks down into several categories. The main thrust of the story is this. Bobbins isn't really into it too much. It's supposed to have taken place after this one. So we take the young girl back, and because of that, the Norwegians know we like them. Everyone likes Norway, I think, except Sweden. So, yeah. You see, one of the lines that was supposed to be used was, what's the Lutefisk? Oh, the Norwegians used it as a bioweapon against the Swedes several years ago. Fling it! So, trench warfare. So, this is about, we're going to be taking folklore from Norway, Sweden, and Finland, and a little Dane. It is not English. And when I tell you some of this stuff, you're going to be like, oh, but they are not the same as English, Irish folktales, okay? You know how the Germans change their stuff, and it's like, the joke is the Brothers Grimm have the name for a reason? Well, this stuff is pretty dark. We're using some very, very good reference books. Jason Dean has said he would play the game Basin for us. He has it, all the books, which is what some of this is based on. Not all of it, but some of it. And we're trying to deliver to you something we've never seen before. So understand that when you see this, okay? You ready?
Yes.
Okay. How do we, no, not yet. How do I,
Do you want me to work the arrows for you?
could you, honey? Yeah. Sure. I'm going to be talking about these as they happen to get a pretty good idea. The music you're going to hear is from Dune. It's called the Fremen music. It's probably about 12 minutes long, but I'll tell everyone to hit it. But it sort of fits us, and you'll understand why. Okay, let's hit the first slide. But what exactly is the story? The archaeologists are asked by the Norwegian government to come and help them find an old object. Here we go. It's about Vikings, but not about Vikings. Odin, at the very beginning, will take his eye out. And as he does it, there's a single tear that drops from his eye and falls through space throughout eternity, landing on Earth, where 3 Vikings find it. Okay. It's blue. Yeah, it's also very, very cold. We should take it to the Gerda. She'll know what to do. Yeah, she's a smart woman. So they take it to the Gerda, and she tells them the stories of ancients that would fight the evil ones, and she says, this is a great amulet. You must protect it. So we get into the unseen realms. This includes a lot of stuff we've never encountered. Now, this is steampunk, so of course we have to steampunk everything.
Yay!
And these are the first ones he did. These are searched for. Go ahead. Do this right now. Now these will be some of the ancillary things, and I'm going to post about this where you are in the hierarchy and everything, but go to that. But that is what you would never expect, okay? Any longer. We're going to try some new stuff. You know I like to innovate. This is what we're going to start looking at.
Peter Pan.
No, not Peter Pan at all. No, these are Norwegian fairies. Norwegian fairies are not nice fairies. They're a little nastier, but they can also be kind. And this is sort of the look I was going for. It's sort of hobbits meet forest creatures. They have to be up to date for 1895, but they also have to be their own. Now, I started with, of course, I had to do it, everyone's half naked and running around and has green glitter in their hair. But we're going to see what we can end up with, because I also have to cast things. And the more makeup it takes, the more painful it is to get everyone ready. So here's some ideas for costumes.
I know what that's.
These are the Norwegian Fae. These are what you would call common folk. These are the ones that live in the forest. They're not very tall. They're very little. So those little backpacks and that are really little, you know, Barbie style clothes. But it gives you sort of an idea. I wanted to play with ideas like of the period, Art Nouveau, things like that in the wings, so the colors can be opalescent but almost unlike stained glass. Because I know a lot of you get into the costuming. And I thought, what would you really like to see? And so, again, these are the preliminaries. These are not all final. By January, I will have some final designs you can really look at and go, wow. And I'm going to try to do it so I can actually get patterns. I can't spell it out in black and white, but you get the idea. Okay? See, there's even an older couple. I wanted to try to include as many people as I could. So the girls are probably a little different than the boys. I was thinking the boys would have a little more intricate because they're trying to do the mating thing. Hey, birds do it. So I'm just trying to imagine me trying to strip. Oh, he's hot. Yeah, look at the colors on his wings. But, you know, it sort of is what it is. I'm trying to have a little fun with this at this point. Okay? This is more of an idea we're running around with. These are like wood nymph kind of things. They're little troublemakers. The Norwegians have a definite belief system about things in forests. There is a movie, it's on Netflix called Elves. It's a Christmas film. If you want to watch that, that gives you some really, you're not too far from this. Go to the next one. Oh, okay, stop. I don't want to show too much right now, but these are just, like I said, previews, okay? Let me hit the music. I'm going to sort of go with the heavy stuff. All right? These are the elves. And the elves are the protectors, well-meaning and kind citizens who want the fairy community to stay and thrive. They embrace the old ways, they provide the cover and hiding for those who seek it. While they do not help those cryptids that harm others, they will not turn them into the hunters or catchers either, for they wish to do no harm to the unseen realms. The fairies consider them rettfridge, and even being Norwegian, I have trouble with this stuff. Mensiger, the righteous people that help their ancestors. So they look common, but you can start seeing they wear the green, and they do things like that. The hats are a little different. I try to use more leather on them. Their stuff is worn. It's very woodsy-like. Okay? And this is the big one. Nope. Okay. The Nessenjager are the goblin hunters. This is the biggest and most equipped balloon in the fleet. This is also what they're called in the Norwegian Army. Updated with the most lethal of all weapons, the unseen realm covers that at night it is seen in the air. The crew is especially trained for missions in colder areas of the continent for maximum efficiency. It is easily spotted by the odd laser gun that emits the high-powered green beam, piercing the forest canopy and destroying all of its targets. Now with that, there's a lot of other things, but these are also called flengeurnen. I'm not making this up, or flying eyes. They're specially made, they're not really hot air balloons, they're more like giant steampunk ships that are weapons platforms with special scopes and detection units. What they're trying to do is stop patrols from attacking because they've been awakened by building railroads into the north. So now they're ascending. This is where we start. So their colors are blue. Now, before anyone says where are the girls, you gotta give me some things here. If I tell, even he has trouble, they will be really bodacious looking Norwegians, and I didn't want that. They're not very smart. So you'll see a few that I've put in. Go ahead. These are more of the trackers, and I'm going to have more pictures up here you can look at. They're more in the orange and brown ones. These are all sticking with Norwegian Viking colors, by the way. Okay? There's a tracker. Okay? These are the ground support troops. These are what you would see near the airships. They're blue, Norwegian red. As you go up in the rank, the piping gets heavier. These are options. You don't have to make any. Okay? You don't have to make any.
So you can make feet. Tell them how to turn your air conditioner.
I know, but yeah. For that, yeah. Okay, go ahead. These are the commanders. This is what they look like. I did tell the big mousy brown here, he tried the best, but his wife, believe it or not, this is the real color Norwegian has. Very few have blonde blue eyes. Did you know that? Yes. They have mousy brown, light blue eyes like I do, or it's brown hair. Only 1/3 Norwegians have blonde hair. But this gives you sort of an idea of the commanders. They're made a little different. Go ahead. And Mary, are you in here?
I am.
This is it right here. That's the picture. This is a gunner. They're young boys who are sat in very, very cramped quarters who have to hunt the trolls in these gigantic ships and go after them. Okay? And there's the ship. So this is a part that we want to film. The top will actually spin. So when they charge it, it energizes itself and is able to start shooting. It's all mechanical. There's no special fairy dust or anything on this stuff. This is Norwegian technology. It runs on Lufthansa. But this is a part that I'll explain in a second. Go ahead. There it is. We're going to I did want to put balloons at first, but I'm thinking not. It would limit it to 1895, and I want to start getting away from that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. There are listening posts, though, too. Go ahead. So, the average Norwegian, I put that in there as sort of a joke, but not really, is average. They are trying not to get stomped on by attacking trolls. Go ahead. So this gives you an idea. I'm working on the women's. The women's are harder to do than the guys because of how the costumes are designed. So if you see it, it does tend to have Nordic looks to it. Go ahead. But it also, and yes, these are all blonde, which I know is sort of dumb, I just said. This is what the first things he was able to generate. So, unfortunately, even on a $5 million computer system, you go, Norwegian guys. I hate AI really, but it helps me with stuff. But the nice thing about this is the closed circuit. Everything you see here is a real model. Did you know that? They shoot their models, they pay their models to come in, and they shoot them in black and white. And then basically it will rewrite over them. It's just a pose. That's what you're looking at, it's a pose. I didn't know any of this until about 3 months ago, so it's sort of all new for me. Go ahead. So the way it's cut, now again, I think it's a little too svelte, but you can see the different types of buttons, the collars, everything. Go ahead. There's a little bit older guy. So the idea is to put more on the belt and around there, more Viking style emblems. Okay? Here is a commoner outside. He's not in the army, he's just a commoner. And he has blue goggles. Okay? This would be more or less a common worker. Again, more leather. The tradesman, bookmaker. Tavern owner. So a lot of this isn't too far. It's steampunked it, but we can have fun like with the leather, we can have fun with the typing. Go ahead. And there's you have your, I'm going to be a Viking if you like it or not. This is actually the first set we did. Well, let's cut back on all the facial scarring, shall we? But you can see, he has the emblems, but it's try it a little bit different. This is a woman walking the snow, so you can see more of the colors again. Okay. And here's another version. So hats similar to what we have. What I was thinking is more like how they wear their dresses. You could have cuffs that would puff your sleeves up, things like that. You could also have Norwegian inscriptions on them. Go ahead. I thought it'd be sort of fun to actually put older women in pictures for once instead of everyone being young. So, because the majority of our people, believe it or not, are over 45 here. But you can see the colors, the bright Christmassy type of reds, the deep blues. Okay? Now, what I'm going to show you next are, I think these are the working models. And you can see a little what I'm going to try to do. These are the colors again. So you can see a lot of the blues, the reds. The only thing missing would be the greens. Some of the greens, the deeper greens, the forest greens. Okay?
It's not going forward anymore.
That's it? Okay. Alright, this may have been the first one I did. I don't think there's not another PDF on this. No. Okay. Is there a... No, you can't play it because it's a PC. So anyway, we can go back to the balloon. Wonderful. There we go. So, we're going to try to do some things. We're going to try to shoot some footage with the opening. The opening has Vikings. Yes, they have Vikings. We're actually going to try to shoot some of this stuff and play it over the weekend so you can see it. So it sort of adds to the ambiance of the whole place. But the one thing I wanted to tell you was, none of this is stuff you have to do, people, okay? I hope you understand that, because people are, they always write this. Do we have to look like this? No. I'm not telling you have to show up in, $3,000 worth of garb. No. It's just, these are ideas for people that really want to get into it, okay? Does that make sense? And you can take it to any extreme you want. Like with the girl with the cuff and that, it made it easier because there's other things you could add writing to, the ruins and that. It's sort of fun. But once I show more pictures, you'll understand a lot more. I have all the troops lined up, elves and Norwegians, and it goes through rank. You could be a general, you could be an elven general, you could be whatever you want to do. That make sense? Okay. So there's also a bunch of other things. You notice some of the posters up. These are the catchers, or the Fengayara. Berry hunters or cryptid hunters. There's our specialists that track. There he is. Specialists that track and catch paranormal beings for science and for profit, enlisting children at times to catch the smaller creatures that are too trustworthy, from small pixies in the forest and on the farms to large, more dangerous creatures like trolls that hunt and even attack small villages. So it's sort of a weird way to look at it, but I thought it'd be interesting, because then kids could walk around with fairy cages and they thought it'd be cute. The fairy protectors I've already gone into. The weapons, there are many types of weapons and gadgets that can hunt the unseen, but the most common is called a stover or duster. They are weapons that destroy them by using iron filings fired with the energy weapons that literally obliterate them when they attack you. Trust me, fairies will attack. I'm going to try to prove that. We also have something new. And I don't know if I should go this way or not, but I know some of you are going to go, "Woo!" when they do it. The Emerling Society, the secret but vast organization founded a millennium ago. What was it? Its purpose is not widely known, but to the modern days, 1880 to present, their goal is to reduce the population of the cryptids because they do not want them interfering in the commerce. I guess we probably backed it. Here's assume that the spin-off of Swarm from the Procticus era has created this. But not yet convinced by such revelations, the heads of state watch it closely to make sure Swarm ideals are not brought back to life.
Are you using the mic?
Yeah, we talk right into it, yeah.
Now I hear you.
Really?
Now you.
Now I hear you.
Oh, okay.
If the mic isn't pointing right at your mouth, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Kidding. I'm evil.
We're aware.
What?
You want me to kill the music so they can go at it?
Yeah, we can kill music. So that's it in sort of a nutshell to give you a big idea of what this is. So we just had the games. We are going to do the games next year, and they'll be based on some of this. And yes, it'll be sort of fun, and you can, do things and have lots of fun. Mr. Brett King here is will kindly run the fairy catchers because that's what his character does. And what we'll probably do is put up hopefully some ideas that for you or for the kids, how to build fairy cages and that. The best thing you can do right now, if you think you want to do something like that, is go out at Christmas or right afterwards at Target and buy those little fairy lights for $5 on battery packs, because that's pretty cheap. So start with who has questions, because I know you're going to have questions.
Could you say that last bit again about the group, and then it might be or might not be Swarm?
The Emerlin Society.
Emerling?
Emerlin means elimination. Oh yeah, it's Swarm. Now you see what I'm going for, huh? Everything old is new again. Now I got machines attacking me. But we're just starting, okay? These are just the rough drafts, so everyone understand that, okay? So that's why I need till January to really solidify and build and put things together, okay? So, do you like it?
Yeah.
You sure? Yeah. What I'm trying to do is give you enough. There's the Norwegians who are pretty much folksy people who just like to eat, German kaka and lingonberries. And Norwegian meatballs. They're Swedish, but they're Norwegian meatballs. And we have the military, who's the hunters, the berry catchers who help them, and then you have the elves themselves and the trolls. So that's all the mythical. Now, one of our guests next year, she's already consented to come. Her name is Chatan Noir. She is a cryptozoologist, and she's going to be coming next year, and she's doing all the work on all the old myths and legends and everything that we can dig up on this stuff. And she's going to present it. I'm asking if she can present it in 2 panels because there's a lot between 3 countries. And Lapland alone has a ton of its own stuff. So it gets pretty dark, but like I said, it's not like scary monster stuff, it's unseen realm stuff. Does that make sense to people, how I'm proposing this? It's something we've never done. I haven't seen too many conventions do it. I mean, some have had fairies, but they don't have fairies. So we're going to try to do some different things that way, okay? Any other questions? Yeah.
Will you put the story on the webpage?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes. I'm actually going to probably ask Sean to write part of it for me. It's probably like we'll see if he does, because he's bored all the time, but maybe about a 50 to 70 page book where we'll start explaining the history, just prior and what's happening. Basically what happens is they're trying to go north and they start blasting into the mountains. As they're blasting into the mountains, they're away from the trolls. And so all hell breaks loose. And the king has no recourse but to stop them before they reach the populated areas. Yes? Yeah, Sam.
Unrelated to this, but can you confirm, somebody said that closing ceremonies is going to be at 1?
We're going to probably have to push it up because Janty has to leave. Yeah. Okay? Yes. So, I know you want to say goodbye to him and he'll want to thank you, so we got to get him to the airport by 2. So it's just, things have moved a little. But you can still go shopping afterwards, so the dealers can still remain for an hour and you can still shop. What else? Yeah. Go ahead, Claude.
So, so you're saying what the Eliminators, the Ferry Busters, are descendants of, so...
It's sort of a shadow thing of Swarm. If the story holds, if we can make it all fit. Guys, you gotta remember, as I'm doing this way in
The
advance.
reason I ask
Yeah.
is someone that we've been sorely missed for years, can we possibly have like, Dr. Loki Crockerson?
We'll see, yeah.
There's way too much scenery that needs to be added.
No, that's maybe in the works. We'll see what happens. Okay. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about mining?
About what?
Mining and...
So the story's basically about them blasting their way into the north to make trains, which they did here. That is all very real. If you watch the movie Troll on Netflix, that's what sets it off for them. It isn't, it's just in modern day, but in old days they did the same thing. So we're sticking to something fairly simple. And I've read some stories and I'm like, it always involves disrupting them when they're sleeping, they're hibernating. So unfortunately they've hit a gold mine of them and it sets them off. We're going to see what we can come up with for different types, but there are different types of trolls. They are not all the same. So there's two-headed ones, and we have to figure out how we're going to make them and how big they're going to be. And this weekend I had hired someone to come and play Olmec in a 9.5-foot tall costume, rock costume that would walk around, well, tried to walk around, but they canceled at the last minute on me. So, yeah, so from now on it's local. I have to have everything local, locally made, locally sourced. You get the reason why. So it would have been a nice add-on for everybody to have this as part of the games, it's part of the story, but he didn't come. So from now on, I'm going to have to try to make things local, which is why I'll bring Rick up here in a second. But we will be getting into that a little, yes. It's not the main part of the story, but it's sort of the problem that starts the story. There was also a movie, I think it was on Netflix, starring Edmund Writing, who it has to do with mining in Sweden, and it sets off a huge tectonic plate problem. And all the countries have been doing this for a long time, so it's sort of an easy in and out of the story, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But we might be able to go into some of the mining stuff, it might be sort of fun.
More opportunities for costumes.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I mean, yeah, we haven't even started listing some of the occupations you could have. You could go as a Norwegian miner, easily. Give me a chance, probably come up with an idea for it. So, what else? Yeah, Scotty.
You say no Vikings? What?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Odin, so yeah. There's already talk. I'd like to do something really funny at the end. Rick knows what I want to do, but there's some special effects we're going to try to do that hopefully people will really wow at the end. But a lot of this, remember, is new stuff that no one's ever tried at these conventions. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. I want to really make this fun for you. I want to make this... I know this is not Disneyland or Disney World. I get that. But even for 4 days, if we can make you sort of forget the world and go into a fantasy land, literally now, I think you'll have a fun time with it. So you do like the story overall?
Yes.
Okay. You just got to give me a little time. And I know somebody like, when's it coming? Guys, got to give me to the middle of January, okay? I need to take a couple weeks off. I need to take care of my son.
He needs to sleep.
And when that happens, then I can start working. Matthew is working on the stuff already. Rick is going to show you some tests, and I'll have him explain a few things. We had talked. We have to figure into the games some of this stuff, augmented reality. But we also, I did tell Travis, who did the birds for me this year, that I'd like him to design a video game for you to play. Now, he's going to do it, and so one of the ideas is you have the fairies attacking the Nessa Yager balloons, where they are firing at it, and you you see yourself for a second with your wings and you're up there shooting at it and it's shooting at you. That's one idea. We'll see what I can come up with. But it's better if I give him one thing to do and then he does everything to get that done, like the birds. So that's that. Yeah. John.
Is this too far north for Krampus?
They don't have Krampus the way the others do. They have other things.
Okay, that's what
It doesn't mean we can't have Krampus. It just means it's different. They do different. They have some really creepy Santa ideas. We will be getting into the paranormal things like Kirkegrims, Nessanakers, Yergaunders. Yes, I know some of the names. But they are different, but they are not German. German and Austrian tend to be not darker, it's just different. But this stuff tends to be more mystical folklore. Yeah, they're big believers in you have to leave pre-mouth for the fairies. They really do. I'm sorry, but at this point, they really do. You gotta understand, this is when the Victorians were going through all the fairy stuff. This is that period where, oh my God, we take pictures of fairies. No, they weren't really, but, this is that time. But that doesn't mean the other countries don't have real fairies. But I want to try to make it fun, and maybe if we can work something into filming and stuff like that, we'll see. Okay? Anything else? I'm going to have Rick come up. When we're done, I'll have these laid out for you. These are pictures I've rendered of the trackers. And the trackers are the people, they're neither good nor evil, they just help track things down for both sides. So the only difference is you'll see the common one, and then you will see the more elvish one, and they're in the green, okay? And I will let Rick take over and show you what he plans on helping you with.
So I'm Rick of Aspect Multimedia, and I'm going to be helping do some interesting things next year, a little bit of augmented reality, where we're hoping to scatter throughout the venue some different areas that you can scan different codes and then pull up different experiences. So I know that Eric had released an image earlier, kind of showing the idea where we'll have maybe little dioramas, or we'll have posters, or we'll have objects, or we'll have different things that we can pull up and show you different clues or different messages.
So we can hear you better?
What's that? Can you hear me? Okay. There we go. So yeah, we'll have some different areas throughout the venue that you can scan some codes and pull up some different game type elements. Not too sure how we'll incorporate this to everything else, but it's kind of early yet. But I'll just show you a couple of things here. So, got some different characters that we've been creating and animating. A couple other different characters. Different characters that we can play with, and then this is like a little bit of some of the examples. So you'll be able to pull it open and scan it, and then see like an object either on a table or on a wall or embedded into a diorama or something like that. So you can have different elements that we can see. All really just early tests right now, but give you an idea of some of the... Be able to animate some things and incorporate some other elements, but really that's about all I have to show you right now. Just a couple little preliminary tests, but...
So, yeah.
So the augmented reality, that's all part of the game, that is the...
No, that'll be for everybody.
Okay.
It'll be part of the game probably too.
Okay.
There'll be different ones. There'll be we're going to use, what are those things called?
QR codes.
Yeah, QR codes. So they'll be up and around, but they'll tell you what it's part of.
Thank you.
But I mean, we might just do things where you can go up and it'll be like, be careful, there's catchers around. You don't want to be caught. If you're buried, get out of here. That, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
There was a really good movie we watched quite a few years ago. Kids movie? Well, it was called Troll Hunter.
Yeah, that's the more realistic one. Troll is more Hollywood. It's more Norwegian, but it's more
Yeah, it's
Hollywood.
Norwegian.
And one is off now. I have them both on video. So I also have the music from it. They're a little different though.
Yeah.
They are a little different. Something in the Barn is the Norwegian Christmas movie, which is on Netflix if you want to watch them. It's a comedy horror where this Norwegian grandfather pisses off the barn gnomes and they go on a rampage, kill him, and then his daughter inherits the farm. They're like, why did Grandpa have all this strange stuff in the barn? And the little boy goes, gnomes! And they attack a car, and you get the idea. But if you want to get into the spirit of the holiday, yeah, it's sort of fun. So, I even tried, remember The Hobbit, the original one by Rankin Bass? I'd like to try even doing some designs off of that. That's one of the, I really like that cartoon. It just had a fun feeling to it. So, again, these are just ideas right now. I'm just working, what you're seeing literally are my sketches. Literally, yeah.
Could you provide some insignia or logos?
Oh God, yeah, we haven't even started.
Yeah, so people can put...
I actually have some of my students working on stuff, because they want to go, what can we do? And I'm like, well, what do you want to do? It was too late, this is, 6 weeks ago. And I'm like, this is pretty much all done for now. They go, can we do something for next year? I'm like, well. So 2 of the boys, 1 of the girls are trying out logo designs. Now, I'm not saying the Norwegian stuff's going to be radically different, but you might see, like, really, we got to do elves. That does not mean elvish ruins from Lord of the Rings, okay? We're sticking with Nordic ruins. That way it keeps it a common, I hate to say common language, but you get the idea where we're going with that. But we are going to try to do, like, so, okay, one of the ideas, and I've told Rick this, is the first game is called the Kraken. And archaeologists are brought, and, well, first the minister tells them this is between here and here is where we lost the stone. So it's about a 35 to 40 mile trek. Somewhere in there is the stone, they just don't know where. And the first place they go to is this old church. So the set, if we can build it, will literally be half Christian on this side with a gate, and half pagan, because they're not buried. They won't be, old-time Norwegian Lutherans don't let you get buried with everybody else. And they disturb, and a Kraken appears. Well, then it's your turn. You have to get all the ruins down before the Kraken returns. And one way we can do that is by using special paint and lighting. All the tombs light up, and you have to write down the inscriptions and then do what it is, put the letters in order kind of a thing. But you first have to have the key. So you get the idea now where we're going with this. It's more of a methodical thing. But that'll be sort of fun. But I do want to show you how the tier works, because you'll want to see how the tier works. It works. It's a magical device. So, okay, but yes, we would have logos, definitely. So the idea is, when we start putting things out, we'll probably have, here are the factions, here's the logos. I'm even considering, I don't see, a lot of people like to doing the military stuff, even though we're not anything, just like rank insignias. I'm trying to figure how with like Norwegian ruins and that we can do things. Like, one of the ideas was, the higher you go, the wider the red piping goes. Because they wear a lot of red, and they wear, now I think I goofed up by putting this PDF. I do have the women. I do have about 8 images of women in bunards. And you all know what a bunard is? It's a simple dress it's the same thing as a German dirndl, basically, underneath, but they are done in coppers and brass instead. And it took a lot. I'll say this about Matthew, he was very good with me. I know I was getting frustrated, because about like, no, and there's a symbol you use in art where it's just it looks like that, that's sort of a simple Q, which means out. And I marked one up, he goes, you don't like anything? I'm like, no, she has a nice shape, and her bosoms aren't exactly gigantic, so this is good. You gotta understand, when he's doing this stuff, he goes, if you ask for a normal girl, it's still gonna be like an ogre. You know, he goes, this is how our system works. I'm like, and we really had to figure how to make like teenagers, and it's hard.
This is why
it doesn't just happen. I mean, I know people like promise art. Well, at this point, they really are, because I don't know how, he's only 26? No, 28. I don't know how the hell he writes this stuff, but I send like this much. His are like every detail. Hair must be nicely combed, but at the ends, the braids are coming apart. And it's just little, I'm like, oh my God. But his computer can take it. He also has something, I've only seen it once before, you can zoom in on something. If I don't like something, he goes right in on that part of the image, and will change just that part and then pull back out, and just like that, it's fixed. But we're talking millions of dollars here, so he's nice enough, he can only do it after work. He's given permission. He's like, yeah, as long as they aren't selling anything, we're not going to sell it. But it's like, it's nice to know I'm getting help. It's just, it helps, because do you honestly think I could create this stuff in time? No. So I'm collecting Bunard images, and we will start putting things up. I'm sure certain people in here already have patterns. It really isn't a tricky dress. It really isn't. It's just how you do the accoutrements on it. And the men are pretty simple. I could show you some of the stuff the men wear, the traditional costume, but we have to figure that out in copper and leather first.
How do you spell Bunard?
B-O-B-U-N-R-D.
No R.
No art.
There's no R.
Ask Kate up here, she does know quite a bit about art, so.
Bunad, B-U-N-A-D.
No art.
No R. And just so you know, if you try to buy an authentic one, it's $1,000. They're super expensive.
So-
They start at like $2,000.
It doesn't have an R in it, but it will not. And you have to understand, some of this is dialected too, so it's a bonard. They have that silent R that's still there. A lot of what I have, like then I see Yadigar, and I asked him, so my dad's cousin is about 81, and she grew up, her side of the family, we're all Norwegian. She's, okay, I'm 79% Norwegian, German, and the rest of them English and that. She is 99% Norwegian, like strict Norwegian. Her upbringing was, in the country. They went to church, sang it, did the whole thing. So she knows Old Norse. Nobody in Norway speaks it anymore. So a few do, but the point is, when they went over there, everyone's like, what are you talking? She's, well, that's what I meant. She's, no, that's not what we say this now. So it went from this long of a sentence to this long of a sentence. It's like in Germany. The new German is much shorter. So she's helping me, because what we're going to hear is Old Norse. When they speak it in the films and that, they'll be, and there's sort of, you'll hear the old stuff, not the shortened news versions. So, but I asked her, she says, Buna.
And modern Bunad.
Yeah. It's tricky, but we'll try to make it fun. So. But we'll have logos, David, I promise. You'll be able to put all kinds of little dragons and fairy things and whatever on them. And I was thinking about having like Ghostbusters, like a fairy going. The kids will walk around and go, ooh. Hey, we can go for ghosts and go for mean fairies. Any other questions? Yeah, somebody.
Have some feeling of like the Carnival Row.
Yeah, that would be a good.
Like the uniform.
And I do have stuff, and we could put that up. I do have a lot of art from that, so that might be okay if you don't mind. Look, yeah, to give you some ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be, that would be too far off. I'm not saying I like all the military design. Their stuff was fine for that show, but for me, I'm trying to make it more steampunk real than just, you gotta understand, some of this, I'm not trying to design it to be mean, like, oh my God, he wants leather. Some of it does come up with leather. Matthew said, he goes, I thought I'd try it with leather. I'm like, just remember, if they want to try to make this, I really don't want them to spend more than a couple $100. He goes, oh. One of the jackets I know in particular came out really good, and it's easily a $2,000 costume. Easily. It's beautiful looking. I mean, he really figured out how to make markings on it like it's old and, you know, gnawed up and that, but it's really pricey. So we're trying to figure out, and I'm trying to have him do some more stuff in like cotton and wool, so it's a little easier. And when I say wool, I don't mean get the heavy stuff, just a little plate. And yeah.
Is it taking place in Oslo or is it?
It's outside of Oslo. There's two rural towns I picked, and I don't ask me because it's like, you know, it's one of those. And where'd they go? Oh, they went to Österland or Sure. 30 kilometers north. Why? They ran out of water. You know, and but they're real towns, and they're about 35 kilometers each apart. And yes, so we're gonna stick with it. It's just, we're saying Norway because they have to starting in Oslo, and then all hell breaks loose. The original idea was, and I don't think we probably do this, is they're sitting in the Minister's of Interior office. The archaeologist is like, so what is it that's wrong? And you hear this, are you blasting outside? No, we're not blasting at all, no. No, we're not blasting. And all of a sudden the windows are actually videos, and you just see this giant foot go in the tail. Good God, it's a troll! Yeah, we have some now. That's sort of the joke. And like, we need your help getting rid of them. Why? Well, they basically stomped Bergen to death. So yeah, it's going to be sort of fun. Lynn knows that we're going to try to actually film live a troll. We are going to try it, which means little miniature houses. But I hope I've been able to explain enough to you. Does this make sense now? A little more, so it's not such a mystery. I don't want you to take it to heart. It's like, no, Vikings. It's not quite that. It's just, it is 1895, but we might do something Thursday night where if you really want to go all Norse nuts, we'll probably do it. So it's just, maybe we'll do a pre-story, like the pre-history. It's like, you know, Viking madness or something like that, you know. Everyone's drinking out of a horn or something, you know. Yeah, we have meat, yeah, you know. But personally, I want to have things like little stuffed coos and sheep everywhere. It'd be really cute. And the trolls sit there and gnaw on them. Why is it all sticky? The troll tried to eat Bessie. Does anyone, if you saw Troll Hunter, remember when if he goes up to the bridge and he's dressed like an old knight, sort of like the Knights of Nin, he's like, ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding, and the guy's, and then, oh my God! And he's just lying there going, and then he eats the sheep. So it's sort of what they're supposed to do. They're not real nice, they're not real, and I don't think we're going to spend $150 on several gallons of rubber cement, poured all over everything, but that's the idea, is it's supposed to be slimy spit on everything. It could, we might try something like that out there, who knows. What is that? The trolls came by. Look, they gnawed on this.
Troll boogies.
Troll boogies, yeah. Oh, trust me, we can do that.
You could make Elmer's glue slime. You can buy by the
Oh, I know, yeah, I know. It's just, you know someone's going to stick their finger in it and go, look, and then it gets on. I can just hear the hotel. What the hell? So, anyway, everyone else, any questions, any concerns, any? No?
As long as I can have a goat.
What?
Can I have a goat?
Oh my God, yes, you can have a goat. Steve Goat was our little patron saint for a long time, thanks to the McKinsters. But I did want to have Steve Goat this year, but we just couldn't get him done in time. We actually bought a goat. No, we actually have a goat. And it talks. No, it talks. We're trying to get it to talk our way now. So anyway. So remember, the tickets are open. Please sign up now. It's cheaper. I'm trying to save you money. And it also helps me plan this stuff because, trust me, this is going to take a lot of effort to do this time.
Okay.
But thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate it. I hope I make you happy.
Thank you, thank you.
Is the CPAS going to be included if we buy early, like we did last year?
Not the regular ones, but the big ones, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? So anything VIP, you get it right away. Yeah. Okey doke. Take care. Love you much.